Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit. Brexit Britain, a country who decided to go down a water slide filled with glass and razor blades just to see what would happen. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages you sent me, and a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all the messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. So, I've got to say as an RIP, special RIP, yeah, to Ronnie Spector. I don't know if you know Ronnie Spector, but she was like a very massive group, all girl group back in the 60s, and said to have done one of the greatest ever tunes, like records. Be My Baby. Apparently one of the best one of the greatest ever one of the greatest ever records made, right? And you know she very fantastic singer, a very pretty girl when she was like back in the 60s, very pretty girl. Not that I know, because obviously I just know because, like, you know, my mum used to love her music, right? So yeah, so she her group, I mean, she went all out to find a special name for her group, right? You know, I know that she must have thought about it for years and years, right, before she came up with the name for her group, because her group was called the Ronettes. She was the lead singer. Her name's Ronnie, and the group's name the Ronettes. so, right, but who really modelled herself off of this person was Amy Winehouse. If you see Ronnie Spector and you see Amy Winehouse, you see, put a picture of them together side by side, you'll see exactly, because obviously Amy Winehouse even rocked the beehive, yeah, that Ronnie Spector used to rock back in the day. So R.I.P. to Ronnie Spector, fantastic singer, done one of the greatest ever tunes ever. And I've been meaning to speak about the Amard or Aubrey case, like, for ages, but I've had so much stuff to speak about because there's been so much stuff going on. Right, but obviously, I don't know if you saw that story, Amard Aubrey in America, where where he was basically lynched, right? You know, and the three guys, right, have all been sentenced, or all got found guilty, and they've all been sentenced to over 30 years in prison. You know, two of them have been sentenced to, you know, they're not going to, they won't be eligible for parole ever. So they're actually going to die in prison. That's the father and the son. And then you got the other guy, right? You know, I was watching a bit of the case, right? And when it's when the defense said to the other guy, because the other guy he got himself involved, right, in the whole situation, and they said to him, so you saw this black man running, and you saw two white men chasing him with guns, right? So what did you try and help him? No. No, he tried to block him. Do you know what I mean? So basically, he got in. He saw this guy running for his life, and he decided he's going to get in on the lynching, and that's why he's just got himself 30 years in prison, right? But he can get parole, like, after 30 years, but you know, I'm sure he's in his 60s. I'm sure he looked like he's in his 60s, early 60s, or maybe very late 50s, but you know, he certainly looks as if, he will be well into his 90s before his ass sees sunlight again. Right, and I say, you know what, that serves you the motherfuck right, because you see that going on, right? Instead of you saying, you know what, you find out why these guys are chasing this man with a gun, two guns, right? You know, and one of them open back trucks, right? You've seen all of that going on, right? And you've decided, well, I'm going to join in on the lynching, and next thing you're sitting in prison for 30 years, and that motherfucker serves that full right. Yeah. Now, Medway Food Bank say they are dealing with up to 500 families a week, because people are having to choose between eating and heating. Right? But you see, that is the true Great Britain, right there. because none of our politicians, right, are prepared to talk about any food banks or anything like that, because they know it's not good. They know already it's not good for their career. They start talking about food banks. Next thing you'll have a lot of Tory MPs standing in front of flags. That's what people want to see. People want to see Tory MPs standing in front of flags. They don't want to know about food banks. Right? They say, you know what, get some more flags behind you. Right? Because that's what's important. That is what's important. Flags is what's important. I mean, all you have to do is ask that fool from Romford, right? You just have to ask him, because remember what he said, right? How he said, oh, the MPs, their second jobs, oh, they need that money because they've got families to look after. He said, well, oh, what about the uplift for the for the people, for the lowest earners in the country? Oh, they don't need that. What they need that £20 for? It's just something that they want. That's your MP from Romford. Right? So when you hear about food banks, right, in this country, yeah, the only politician who was ever talking about food banks was Jeremy Corbyn. Only one. Right? And what did people used to say when he's always talking the country down? You see, if you love your country, right, you would not want a country what has food banks. You wouldn't want that reflected across the rest of the world. But not one of these politicians, not one of them, right? Which Labour politicians is talking about food banks? Who? None of them. None of them. You can get them all over the TV talking about other stuff. Do you know what I mean? You talk about parties, have a party, but none of them talk about food banks because they don't give a fuck, right? Just an extra two grand a year for them. Right, I see when Keir Starmer, the hard left of the Labour Party was saying, listen, people should be, £15 an hour, and Keir Starmer, no, Keir Starmer, no, tenner, yeah, tenner. That's what they need. That will do them. Would it do him? Would it do him? Tory MPs making millions of pounds on the side of their job, right? And I don't know which one's the side job, because for me, right, someone's paying me £1 million as opposed to someone paying me 83 grand, right? The 83 grand going to be the side hustle, because I know where my bread is buttered, right? And if I want to stay in the big motherfucking house, right, I'm going to keep that job that's worth £1 million. Right? I'll turn my MP's job in. Right? Seriously, this is Food Bank Britain. That's what this is. Right? And not one MP is talking about it. None of them's talking about it. What are they talking about it for? Because you know what? They don't give a fuck. I wonder, yeah, how much of those people, right, those 500 families, right, are families who are Tories. Because I guarantee you there's going to be a percentage of them that are Tories. Or they believe they're Tories. But you see, they're Tories, right, because they like the racist message. That's why they're Tories. Which brings me over to the migrant crossings, because the migrant crossings are back again. All 100 people come over on Monday on boats. So we've got we've just got Natalie Elphick, the Dover MP, right, saying how she's going to have the boats them turn around and push back, and all the charities them are saying, no man, that's dangerous, man, and you know what, we're not really prepared to do that shit. I say, well, have you checked with the French? I don't know, I'm just saying, have you checked with the French? And Natalie Elphick was talking about all the routes that are opened up to these people to come over, and said, no, come on man, seriously, none of those routes are opened up. They're not. You know that those routes are not opened up, right? And the easiest, for these people, right, the best way that these people can get themselves out of the situation that they're in, right? Because in France, right, they've got Tent City, and they've got they've got the jungle and all them things up in there, right? So, the French, right, are just prepared to just leave them there. A lot of these people have got relatives in this country. So that's mainly a lot of the reasons why they want to come here, right? But I was thinking, how do you stop people from, because remember, these people, right, have got brains, and like the human brain, the human being, yeah, has got the greatest brain, right, out of all of the mammals, which means that they think, right? And you say, well, I don't understand. The whole thing. I don't understand how these guys are trying to handle it. Do you know what I mean? Thinking to yourself, well, if we act tough, right, it's gonna stop. It's ridiculous. It's never gonna stop. The tougher you act is the more stupid you look. You just look more and more stupid on a daily basis. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got like Rosie Duffield. I've just seen her and Natalie Elphick on GMB, and obviously the Labour politicians there saying, well, listen, we've got to deal with this in a different way, and blah 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 blah, right? And thinking to yourself, and that's the reason why none of these motherfucking racist motherfuckers are going to vote for you, right? Because the Tories telling them the right thing, she's going to push them back. She's going to say, get fucking back, good. That's what the Tories going to say. And they like that message, right? That's the message they want to hear. They want to hear the message to say, well, you know something, right? What we should do is let the boats fucking drown. In fact, let's machine gun them. That is where the Tories go. Right? And that is what these people want to hear. Why do you think they voted for Brexit? Why do you think they voted to do themselves economic harm? Only a fool, right, would vote for Brexit. Right? Only a fool would vote to do themselves economic harm. Only a fool, right, would vote to put so much red tape in front of your own businesses, right, that they're going bankrupt on a daily basis. Only a fool would do these things. Maybe an idiot, definitely a racist, would do those things. The stupidity level, right, is on the highest you can possibly find. Right, we've got empty. I'm walking around the shops and I'm seeing a lot of shelves that are empty. And right, because obviously from the 1st of this month, right, things just got even worse for a lot of these businesses. Businesses that are importing as well. And they are not putting up with that shit. Whoever imports into this country, they don't want to fill out none of this nonsense paperwork. They already had enough paperwork from before. They don't need another 300 pieces of paperwork. But that's what shit. Depending on what type of load you're bringing over, that is the amount of paperwork you can be filling out. And they don't need that shit. Right? People who's importing into this country, and then I think it's either June or July. Yeah, things are going to change again because they've relaxed a lot of the new rules have been relaxed until then. So things are going to change again. So that's going to make it even worse. Much worse. Much. That's going to make it. Right, but still, a lot of those dirty, stinking Brexiters, the hardcore Brexiters. No, we've got to stick with this. We've got to stay rigid, just as rigid as the EU. See? Right? And now, OVO Energy. What am I talking about OVO Energy again for? We hate that company because they're rude. And the first thing, remember, I always tell you, the first thing these people do, right, if their costs are increasing, the first thing they're going to do, we need to get rid of quarter of our staff. Need to go. Because our shareholders, right, need to still get the same money as those getting from before. Why should our shareholders suffer? Because the gas prices have gone up and the electric costs have gone up. Why should our shareholders have to suffer that? No. Get rid of staff. Don't need them. You can cut them down. See? That, right, is what happens, right, when you sell off your industries, right, your main industries in your country. When you sell them off, right, to the private sector, that is what happens. But gas, electric and water should always be in the hands of the government, along with transport, trains and buses should be in the hands of the government. That's it. Right? No private companies. Why are you going to give someone, why are you going to give someone, yeah, all of that money? What, just for being them? Just because you like them? Just because they make you happy? What kind of foolishness is that? You're going to sell off all of your best industries, right? Basically, the crown jewels. You're going to sell off, right? And then when those companies are ready, right, they're just going to say, you know what? We can do it a lot less staff because our costs are going up and our shareholders need to be motherfucking paid. Seriously, this country, right, is the biggest joke since. It's the biggest joke, yeah, since before the Brexit vote. Because it was a big joke before, because all this shit was sold off before. And then when we went and voted for Brexit, it then became the biggest joke since Brexit. I've just worked that one out. Because you know, I don't know a country that's a bigger joke than this one, right? And that's been that has been for some time now. That's nothing new. That's been for some time now. Yeah, I can tell you, right, when this country started going downhill. I can tell you the exact time when it started happening, right? And it was when David Cameron said it's okay to speak about immigration. Because it's never okay to speak about immigration. That conversation always goes sour. It's a sour conversation. These people can't have a conversation about immigration because it always gets really racist. Always. However you look at it, it gets really racist. I remember from before what they used to say before David Cameron made that statement. Oh, we're not allowed to say what we want to say, are we? We can't say the things that we want to say. And now for the last 12 years, we've known exactly what the fuck they want to say. Right, for the last 12 years, we've known, and since the Tories have taken, from since then, right, this country has gone downhill. Right, it hasn't gone. It's gone nowhere. It's gone nowhere fast. It's just sunk like a stone, and it's gone further and further down. Right, with the takeover of the far right. You know, you got the English racist group running the Tories. Right, you know, so that is the reason why this country is in the state that it's in. Right, you know, I was trying to explain to someone a couple of days ago, right, that because I said to them, you know, that Brexit is the third most racist thing to have ever happened in the world. But I did leave out, obviously, like colonialism. Some people will say, well, that's covered under slavery, because you know the first most racist thing to have ever happened in this world was slavery. Then the Holocaust, right, and then right. You know, we've got colonialism. You say colonialism, and people say, well, that's covered by slavery. But no, because like we had colonialism in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, you know, in India, in China, right? You know, just all over the world we had colonialism, right? You know, obviously, and the African colonialism, and you know, ended up in slavery. Right, so it's something so I did leave out a few things, because obviously we've got, like, you know, as I said, we've got slavery, we've got the Holocaust, we've got colonialism, and then we've got all of the racist wars, like, you know, where you've had like ethnic cleansing and all that type of stuff. So all of those racist wars. So we put all of those in, right? You know, so we say, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So Brexit, right, is the 5th most racist thing, right, to have ever hit the world. Congratulations, Great Britain. Right, the most racist one of the most racist ever acts to ever hit the world. Right, you know, it's got to be on par, right, with the Australians and the boat people. Well up there with that. Well up there with that. Right, as what just some of the most racist things to have ever happened in the world. So, do you know? Yeah. Yesterday or the day before, yeah, I was watching the news on the Beep, right, and I was watching an interview, and I'm thinking to myself, is this the joke? Then I've looked at the presenter. I don't think to myself, but that's a serious presenter. But this interview was with like Michael Fabricant. Right now, this guy, right, he looks like a comedy version of Boris Johnson. I don't know why I've never seen. I can't have ever seen Michael Fabricant before. I've heard the name, but I can't remember actually seeing him before. But this guy, because he's the MP for Lichfield, right? But he looks like a version of Boris Johnson that's gone wrong, like a Frankenstein. Like Frankenstein has done something, and it's all gone wrong with Boris Johnson. Do you know what I mean? You know, this guy, right? And then he's there just speaking a whole lot of bullshit. Right. When I tell you just a whole lot of bullshit, just like he's there obviously trying to defend Johnson. Right? And you think, seriously, you guys really need to give this shit up now. Right? But when I tell you, yeah, the only thing that really struck me about this guy, yeah, is how much of a version of Boris Johnson. He looks like a version of Boris Johnson that's gone completely wrong. Right? You have to check out how this guy looks, because seriously, I'm just like, and right, so Boris Johnson yesterday in the Houses of Parliament. Do you know something? Right? Now, I did say, right, that that he might go for the apology, right? But I can tell you, I would have given you the greatest. I would give you 100 to 1 on that he would never go for the apology, right? Because that's the last thing I said he might. I said that was one of the options, but that's the last thing I expected him to do was go there and apologise. But typical Boris Johnson, right, to go there and say, "It's I just want to know, yeah, how the hell the man can just come out and just say, yeah, I basically walked out into my garden and I didn't realise there was a party there. I walked into a party, fell over a party, walked round the corner. Oh, there's a party there. Oh, I didn't know this was going on, right? So it was an apology, but seriously, when you apologise, you just go in, you apologise, right? And that's it. There's no, I apologise, but. When you apologise, there's no but when you apologise. And that's what Boris Johnson went in with. You know what I mean? And then, right, then he had to sit there, right, and just get completely smacked. Do you know, there's one stage there where I wanted to get myself down to the House of Parliament and just say, leave him alone, he's doing his best. That's what, because he really, even the Scottish, the leader of the Scottish Conservatives, like Douglas Ross, has come out and said, you know what, this guy needs to go. He's a ficking idiot. That's Irish, right? Still works though. He's a ficking idiot, right? He needs to go, right? Even so, Douglas Ross. Yeah, so Douglas Ross was just, and then, right? Jacob Rees-Mogg came out and said, you know what, Douglas Ross, he's a no mark, nobody likes him, he's never been a Conservative. Right? Wow. Jacob Rees-Mogg just came out and just trashed him straight. It's just like, wow, that's how these guys are turning on each other. Right? That's how these guys are turning. Seriously, right? But the amount of Tory MPs that are calling for Boris Johnson to go, but Boris Johnson's not going to go, because Boris Johnson's he's not going to go unless they put the letters in. Do you know what I mean? And even then, there's a good chance that he might not go, and if he doesn't, right, that will give him at least another year in power. If he can win the no confidence vote, give him another year in power anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I don't, so where that situation is going to end up, nobody knows. But Boris Johnson yesterday, yeah, he really took a good pasting in the House of Parliament. Do you know what I mean? Keir Starmer was okay. I think Angela Rayner would have really tore him to pieces in there. Do you know what I mean? And speaking of Angela Rayner, yeah, I've heard people say, oh, someone come on the radio yesterday, well, did you see what she was wearing the other day? And I was like, seriously, this is where we're going now, right? But you know something, right? These are working class people who do this type of thing to people like Angela Rayner, because she was on the TV yesterday, right? And then next thing I know, that she's tweeting saying that people are tweeting her and mocking her accent, right? And I can guarantee you, right, that is working class and poor people who are doing that nonsense. So you think to yourself, these people, they really need, some of them need two caps. They need a cap, right, that covers each ear so that they can doff whenever they see these people, because these people, it seems like they just need to be run, right, by toffs all the time. Do you know what I mean? You think, she, at least, Angela Rayner, she's a real person, right? You check out her story, right, and she has come from the working classes, and for her to be sat next to the leader of the opposition just shows how far that woman has gone. And she's an absolutely brilliant person, right? And so let's speak about some Brexit, because the very same MPs, right, who convinced you fools to vote for Brexit, right, and told you, what, we can remove the VAT off of energy costs, are now fighting against doing that very same thing. Remember when Boris Johnson just the other day said, well, it's a bit of a blunt tool. Too blunt. Tool's too blunt. Can't do that. Don't need to help people. And then the fool went and got his figures completely wrong. Right? I said, well, you could get £140 a week or a month. I can't remember what he said. He said either a week or a month. You can get £140. Right? And I believe it's £140 a year. So you work out how much that is a week. Right, only 14% of our rivers, right, are decent. Right. Now, when you're in a country, where you can have sewage poured into your waters 400,000 times last year, they must have just had a permanent tap on, innit? So with all the plastic, right, and with all the road waste, right, in our rivers, right, they're saying that none of our rivers, you can't swim in any of our rivers. That's what they're saying. And that is a Brexit bonus, right, that you can have dirty, stinking water, because you know what? It's called deregulation. Because the EU wouldn't allow them to do that. The EU don't allow the sewage to be dumped into waters. They'll be like, take the sewage there and get rid of it properly. Right, deal with that properly. Right, we've got a government, right, that, every minute they're flying down on people because they leave a bed 2 doors from their house. Right? They leave a bed or a wardrobe or a fridge. Fly tip in. Can't fly tip. But if you go and tip it into the river, you got to tip it in the river. That'll probably be okay. Right? But don't leave it on the side of the road. No, because it's too easy for the council to go round and pick it up on the truck. It's a lot easier if you chuck it in the river. That is Great Britain. And our last story is Liz Truss, our Liz again. Our Iron Lady, our Liz. Pencil neck. Liz Truss, right, will be serving up traditional meals, right, as a way to impress the EU. And I say, well, typical British meal. So, pie and mash, or we're gonna have to go, or I suppose that it would the next one do. Well, there's quite a few. There's quite a few typical British meals. Right, we could go for curry goat, the vindaloo, pizza, fish and chips, kebab with chips, right? Sausage mash and chips and peas. Ain't really much traditional British meals, Seriously, there's not much. So I would like to know what the hell Liz Truss is going to serve them up to impress them on a good old British meal. Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm GMT John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.